Hi everyone, welcome back to Chelsea Fan TV for your evening stream. It's Nina and Charlie here, and today we're bringing to you the latest Chelsea news. No football this weekend for us, so we've had a break. At least it means no defeats and losses to talk about. But yeah, we'll take you through sort of the latest. Of course, there are a few transfer rumours and some whispers about potential players that could be arriving or players that we're just interested in. To be honest, I always take it with a pinch of salt because we seem to be interested in a lot of players, but our proactivity in terms of signing the right ones as of late is lacking. But yeah, we hope everyone's doing well. Join in the chat, let us know your thoughts as always, and make sure you smash the like button, guys, and subscribe to Chelsea Fan TV if you haven't done so already. Charlie, mate, how you doing?
Yeah, all right, actually. It's nice to have a bit of a break from Chelsea.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I love it, love going to the games and watching us play. But every so often, it's quite nice to have a bit of a break, just not have a weekend ruined. And
And
yeah,
actually
no,
watch
I'm
other
good.
teams. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I was just
exactly.
watching
No,
the.
it's all good. It's all good.
Did you watch any of the FA Cup games?
I think I watched Man City Plymouth, watched some penalties of Man United Fulham. Not
That
when
was
you're not in
good.
the cup, it's not that exciting.
Mm,
But no, it was all right. To be fair, it was all right.
mm. Yeah, nice. How's everyone in the chat feeling? Nearly 40 of you guys in here. Let us know in the comments down below how everyone's been. We're going to take you through, like I said, some transfer news today and some potential players that we're interested in. It seems we might fancy some business with AC Milan, who I think are playing right now, actually. Yeah, that's
Right.
right. Playing Lazio. Yeah, it's kicked off, I think, 15 minutes ago. But obviously Milan have been struggling a little bit this year. They are further down in the table. Our Chelsea boys are struggling a little bit, aren't they?
Well, yeah, certainly Felix has been shit, which is no surprise there. And yeah, obviously there's a lot of ex-Chelsea boys there. There's Tammy Abraham's there, Loftus-Cheek, Tomori,
Yeah.
um, Pulisic. Yeah, there's quite a few. There
Mm-hmm.
are quite a few of them. But Milan are struggling this year. They're ninth in the table. So I mean, yeah, it's not great. I mean, they are only 5 points off, 6 points off fourth, but yeah, it's not particularly great for them. And there are some players there which could potentially be available in the summer, especially if they miss out on the Champions League. But again, how likely that is, I don't really know. That there's been news of Rafael Leao. I mean, there was talk. I think when in that first window, when Bowley was in charge, there was quite a lot of talk about Chelsea possibly making a move for Rafael Leao, and then it's all gone a bit quiet. And now it's kind of, I say, it's come up again. That there has been like one report saying that Chelsea could look at Leao in the summer. Yeah, Chelsea made contact to find out about Rafael Leao's situation ahead of the summer transfer window. Jorge Mendes will be key. AC Milan do not view Leao as unsellable. Now, again, if they don't get Champions League, then Milan have got financial difficulties and they will need to sell maybe one or two of their top players. Leao falls into that. Tijani Reijnders, the Dutch midfielder, falls into that category as well. But again, we're not going to be the only club that's interested in these players. And if we can't offer Champions League football ourselves, it's going to be very difficult to actually get ahead of these other teams that no doubt will be able to offer that. I mean, Leao's an interesting one. He's a good player, but he's still very, very inconsistent. Like
Mm.
sometimes he's good and sometimes he's just really shit, which maybe fits in pretty well with what we've currently
I was
got,
going to say, yeah.
where a lot of
If
our
you're
players are sort of they'll be really good for a couple of weeks and then they'll be shit. But Leao's really, he's 25 now, he's 26 in June. He's a very talented player, very good footballer, but he plays on the left wing as well, which obviously we're going to need another left wing. I don't know when Mudrik's going to play for us again. And right now we need someone else. But I mean, Leao's not having an amazing season. He's got 11 GNA and 24 appearances in Serie A, 6 goals, 5 assists. It's nothing groundbreaking, but he's one of those players that like he can make things happen out of nothing. And when he's like on his day, he can be pretty much unplayable. Problem is his day is not as often as perhaps a player of his ability should be.
Yeah, I agree. And I think inconsistency is not something that we should particularly be looking at now. The whole reason that we find ourselves right now where we are is because we just do have too many players who are inconsistent and, you see glimpses of. And I think I agree, Leao's a great player and he can be really entertaining to watch. But I think that is also a problem. I think that's where we've maybe seen a little bit more of, I don't want to use the words overhype, but I certainly think when you see something quite pleasing, aesthetically pleasing on the pitch, like, his tricks and flicks on the ball, that instantly kind of elevates a player's reputation to how good they can be. And that gets mistaken sometimes with actual output and actual contribution. And I just think we don't need another player that's going to be so hot and cold, game in, game out, where you're not too sure what he's going to get. And in many ways, he kind of reminds me of Madueke in the sense that he can be great on the ball technically, like he's got his tricks up his sleeve, but then again, it's like the end product, the tracking back, the defensive work rate, that's a little bit of a weakness to his game, isn't it? So I just wonder, are you really bringing him in as an upgrade on what we currently have, or is he just another player that kind of is of the same profile of the ones we currently have? Because I need someone that's going to come on and be good on and off the ball, provide numbers, contribute. But yeah, the thing is with Leao, I mean, obviously he had that great first season, didn't he? And then his numbers did drop off a little bit. So of course, again, when you do have a great season like that, you do get expected. People expect you to live up to that. But I'm just not too sure that come this summer, he's going to be something I look at and think, yeah, this is exactly what Chelsea needs. For me, I think we should be looking elsewhere because I don't really want another player that can do the cool things and the step overs and the nutmegs, but it leads really to nothing. Or, he's got about 10 GNA at the end of the season, which again, is it great? I think we need more.
No, we probably do need more, but I mean, look, Leao, he's 25, he'll be 26 in the summer.
He's not young anymore.
No, it's not old, by the way, but it's not like,
yeah, of course.
It's at the stage where if you're buying someone at that age, you'd expect them to be near the finished article. You'd expect them to be consistent more often than they aren't. I'm just not sure if Leao's that guy. Is he better than what we've got currently?
The fact that you have to think about it kind of tells you the answer, no?
I don't think he's worse, but if you're going to bring players in, you're going to spend that kind of money potentially, which it would be a decent amount of cash to get Leao in, then you want someone that's going to be maybe significantly better than what you've currently got. Now, would he get, I don't know, look, who's our top scoring winger this season? Madueke, 7 goals in the league. Would he score more than 7 goals in the Premier League? Quite potentially he would in a season, but I don't know. But then at the same time, the winger market is not it's not amazing. Like I don't look at anyone on the left-hand side and think, oh wow, there's players we have to get. I mean, there's been links to the players like Jamie Gittins at Dortmund, obviously Garnacho, absolutely not. Nico Williams is a name that gets mentioned. He lacks consistency massively, but then a player at 21, 22, you kind of expect that, but we don't want to add another player into the mix who lacks consistency. Is going to be Esteval, who comes in the summer, going to be 18. He's going to be 18, coming from Brazil. He's not going to come in and make an instant impact. You wouldn't have thought so. He needs to be bedded in, and we need to not put a load of pressure on him. The winger situation, for the amount of money we've spent on the wingers, it's not amazing. Sancho, Neto, Madueke, and then obviously there was Mudryk, but he's obviously out of the picture right now. And then you need one more. And look, hopefully these players can get better. I think Neto will get better. Hopefully Sancho can get better, and Madueke will continue to get better. But for the money that we spent on our wide players, I still think we haven't really got like one outstanding one.
No, that's the thing. And I think all of our Chelsea fans maybe would have been a little bit more okay, I guess, if we brought in an actual goal-scoring winger. And I know that, to be fair, you probably looked at Neto and thought maybe he could be that. Maybe you would have backed Sancho to get some more goals, potentially, if, he revived himself again. And, he got the assist, yeah, but we certainly need more goals from Sancho and Neto, of course. But again, I think it all would have been forgiven a little bit if they did bring and contribute to those goal scoring numbers, but they haven't and they don't. So that's almost an issue there. So again, I'd like to bring in someone who, okay, fine, if we don't go out and again buy an out and out number 9, which I think we really, really do need to at some point, bring in a player that you can guarantee will get you goals from the wings. And I think that's what we really envisioned for ourselves this season as well, because even last year when we brought in Nicholas Jackson, I think perhaps the vision there was that he'd have time to adapt and potentially, you know, up his numbers gradually because he'd have the players around him who can score goals, right? But obviously, when everyone's kind of been learning on the job, and, you know, obviously Mudryk, who we now don't talk about because he doesn't play anymore, Madueke, who, yeah, picks up his goals as well slowly, but you don't just look at us in recent years and think which winger has been absolutely out of this world scoring goals. Do you know what I mean?
But even Madueke being our top scorer winger with 7, right? 4 of those goals came in 2 games. So, you know, obviously they still count, but if you're looking at it, the consistency over a course of a season, 4 of his 7 Premier League goals coming in 2 games. Again, all right, he's been good, and maybe it's the best of a bad bunch, but 7 goals for a winger in the league, it's not bad. But if you want to get to if you're looking to get Champions League football bare minimum, you need wingers that are scoring. You need at least 1 or 2 out of your 4 that are scoring double figures in the league. And we have that right now. Neto's got 3 goals in the league. Sancho's got 2. Madueke 7, and obviously Mudryk hasn't even. I don't think Mudryk even scored in the league this season. So we do need more numbers from those wide areas. I mean, look, having a centre forward with box presence that can get on the end of the crosses they put into the box will certainly improve their assists and whatnot. But in terms of actual out and out goal scoring numbers, there needs to be an improvement all round. I'm not saying they all have to get like 10, 15 goals or whatever, but if 1 or 2 can get between 10 and 15 each season, that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think what we have to ask ourselves with Leao is, yeah, okay, he's not old, but he's not exactly on the younger side of things. And, you know, we're now living in a world of football where, you know, we're seeing some insane 18-year-olds, 16, 17, 18, 19-year-olds, and, you know, 25 or 26 isn't, you know, it's certainly on the older side if you want to look at it that way in terms of upcoming talent. I think what you have to ask yourself is, how much better can Leao get? I think that's what we have to look at here. And do you think he's hit his peak, or do you think that we can see Leao potentially become an even better version of himself and what he can already do?
No, look, 25, 26 is coming into those peak ages. I wouldn't say he's going to get significantly better, but I think there's still room for him to get better and to improve. But, you know, it's not like a player that's 21, 22 that you think is going to get a lot better. Leao, 25, 26. I'm not saying I don't believe that he won't get any better if he goes to a different club, but I think the room for improvement is a lot less than you might expect. I don't believe there's a huge amount of room for improvement with Leao in terms of how much better this player can actually get. He'd get more consistent, sure, but in terms of actually getting better, I think there's very minimal upside for him.
Yeah, no, it's true. But yeah, let's have a look in terms of the chat, see what people are saying. But before we do that, guys, just a reminder to hit the like button if you've just joined. There's just over 50 of you guys here now, and we're only on 21 likes. So please, can we get those further up, guys? Smash the like button. Just literally will take you a second and it will help us out massively. But yes, thank you to everyone who's watching. There's quite a few, different points in the comments. I think Christian here says that Leao is poor because he doesn't want to be at Milan anymore. If he changes his environment, then maybe he'll do better. And I think, you know, that is a possibility. It's kind of in the same way that we looked at Sancho. You know, we knew that the player desperately needed a change of environment. And on the get-go, he was, you know, there assisting and looked much more comfortable and much more confident in himself. I think there still is a bit of a low self-esteem to Jadon Sancho, which I'd really like to see get better, because he's certainly a player that has kicking up skill and can do more if he backs himself to shoot a little bit more often. He never knows. He could get a lot more goals that way if he doesn't always need to pass. He doesn't always need to assist. And he can certainly have a few more numbers to his name if he just, you know, takes that shot because he's good. He's got a good shot on him, hasn't he? He's got a good shot on him, and if he's on target, well, you never know. But yeah, I get what Christian's saying here. It's a good point, and I think when players have kind of really almost ended their desire to stay at a club, I think it really does show in their body language, their games, and the way they play. So maybe that's the case for Leao, but I worry about him. Is he a player that does really fancy playing? And it's normal. Every player wants to play at the pinnacle of football, compete in Champions Leagues, etc. But I think that's quite a driving factor with him, isn't it? And I think the moment it doesn't quite hit that same target in terms of playing there, then maybe he's no longer interested. So again, coming to Chelsea, things are very frail here with us, up and down. Is he a player that can stay motivated and really kind of get behind what's going on here? It's hard for any player, it's hard for us fans, but just in general, like, is there something that we could is there something here at Chelsea that we could appeal to him with?
Possibly Premier League football, London lifestyle, those things go a long way. But ultimately for me, like, if we don't get Champions League football this season, then we can just forget signing a player like him. He's not going to go somewhere where there's not Champions League football. And I don't think he's prepared to wait however many years it might actually take.
Yeah, true. A lot of people, to be fair, in the comments say that they're not particularly interested in having Leao here. Leao can't get better, wants to move. That's why he's not good. Well, I think this one's quite self-explanatory what the opinion is here. But who else is coming in for him? I think there could be a few European clubs that fancy Leao. He's a good player.
But it's only March, to be fair.
Yeah, it's March, yeah. Certainly. And
if he finishes the season strongly, there'll definitely be more suitors. But like, this is like one link in March. I probably wouldn't read too much into it. But I think what is more likely is that, obviously, if Milan don't get Champions League, then because of their financial situation, which I don't think is particularly great, they are going to have to be forced to sell one or two of their top stars, and he falls in that category. And with the Felix loan as well, there could be potential manoeuvrability to involve him in part of a deal to bring Leao, maybe. I mean, these things always get spoke about, but never really happen. But there is that potential movement there to possibly do something like that.
Yeah. If you had to price Leao right now, what market value do you think he stands at the moment?
Probably around the £60 million mark.
Yeah.
I don't think he's worth more than that right now, no.
No.
I'd say around 60 million.
Yeah, I would have probably gone 55. I think 55. Because again, just because of it's not necessarily a drop off. I do think you have to ask yourself, though, how much better can he get? And like I said, if people believe in the theory, a change of environment could really, make him a better player again, then perfect. But yeah, I think, some of his goals this season, I can't say, and I'm not going to sit here and lie to you that I've watched an awful lot of Serie A, but I think, where he's done better is playing with certain players around him. Obviously, in the title, we've mentioned Reijnders. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah, Reijnders, yeah.
Reijnders, the Dutch player, and obviously he's had quite a few goals himself and assists this season, and they have combined quite a little bit. So I think if Leao has a better environment around him and is in a system where he's supported, he could potentially thrive a little bit better. But I also think Leao is known in the past to be one of the players that just kind of grafts on his own to make something happen, because he is quite crafty like that. It just depends on whether he can finish the chance he's created or not. But certainly if he's got better support around him, better players, which I think we could say we will have, because again, they will have spent some more time with us. You've got players like Palmer, and you've got players like Enzo, who creates a lot in the team for us right now. So potentially you could look at it from that side of things, and maybe again a change of environment in terms of the players he has around him. He does well with other creative players like him.
Yeah, again, look, change of environment can be good for players. You surround them with players that are going to elevate the game, is their game. And you can perhaps get more out of someone in a different environment. I'm just not really sure if this would be, I just don't know if this is the right move for us, really. That's the reality. I would probably stay away. But again, look, if it did end up happening, then obviously you support the player and you get on board with it or whatever. But Yeah, for me, I'm just not quite sure that's the right thing. And even the Reijnders stuff, like, look, Reijnders is a good player and a good season. I think he's 26 now, midfield player. Why do we don't need another midfield player? So why are we inquiring about Reijnders? Like,
Well,
what are
that's
we doing?
Nelson's concern here. If he's
What would
coming to
Reijnders
Chelsea,
be? Where would
what's
he
he going
play?
to do? Yeah. I mean, is he a Palmer? Could he be a Palmer backup? Is that what he would be? You'd bring him
Well, he's
on
more of a
as
central midfield player, but he does get forward and score goals. But I don't know, to be honest. I don't understand what we would do with another midfield player.
Isn't he playing in the 10 at the moment at Milan?
He does play a bit further forward, but I don't understand what we do with another midfield player unless it was literally as a Palmer backup. But I don't know if he'd swap. He's good enough to be a first team player and play every single week at a top club. So I don't know if he'd swap Milan to come and play back up to Cole Palmer. Because if you're playing back up to Cole Palmer, what you're basically consigning yourself to is being on the bench every week and starting a few cup games. That's the reality.
Which I don't think he'd be satisfied with, certainly. So if another club came calling where he could be a first teamer, obviously he's going to jump to that ship for sure. Mark says that he'd pay maximum 35 and that's overpaying. How much was Noni? And he is better. What do you make of that?
I think Madueke was 29 mil. Look, Madueke, I think Leao's got more talent for sure. If you're talking about ability and talent, Leao's definitely got more ability and talent than Madueke. But I'd probably say Leao's a better footballer. But I mean, there's probably not an awful lot in it.
Yeah, I agree. What else have we got? DHL says, I don't think it's a good idea to group together players who all have had issues at their previous clubs all in one team. We are acting like expendables. Oh, yeah, I mean, it's not, yeah, that's a funny comment. I get what you mean. I honestly do think that we need to be looking more of a, I mean, look, I always say, and I want us to go down the route of signing some experience. I really don't want to, I'm not excited by the prospect really anymore. Like, of course, I understand we've got some great wonder kids coming through and, we've done our scouting fantastic, but they all need to be accompanied with actual experience and actual kind of ready-made talent there and experience to go with it, because I'm no longer excited by the prospect of what if and when you have to kind of talk about providing the right environment or making things around the play work. I don't really want to see that anymore. I want players to kind of come and not everyone's going to hit the ground running, but certainly someone who you're not going to repeat every game. Give them time. They need a little bit of time and this and that. So I think come this summer, we need to be looking at players that I'm not going to be sitting here thinking, okay, let's give him his whole first season to settle in. Maybe next year. No, I want players that are actually going to come and, maybe that sounds a little bit greedy, but at least I think we need a couple of those players that are going to come through and be a real anchor to this team and help integrate everyone that's coming and has already arrived, But yeah, it's going to be tricky.
No, it's a big summer. It's a massive summer. Like, it's probably the most important window under this ownership. And what happens this summer will dictate the way which this football club is going to go over the next few years. If they get it right, we can compete. If they get it wrong, then we could be consigned to mediocrity for a good 4 or 5 years if they get this wrong. It's that important. We don't need quantity this window. We need quality. We need 3 top players. We need a striker, a centre forward, and a left winger. 3 top quality players, and that will make such a big difference to the team. It feels like we're a long way off, but we're not a million miles off. If we get 3 top quality players, then that's setting us up nicely and putting us on our way. You've got Andre Santos hopefully coming back into the midfield, which will make a big difference. Adding a quality body in the middle of the park, along with Lavia, Enzo, Caicedo, that we're okay there. We need a left winger. We need a centre forward. We're not going to get a goalkeeper, but hopefully Petrovic comes back. He can be the number 1, and that will be better than anything we've got right now. So
which left wingers would be realistic and would be feasible come this summer to potentially look at?
I don't really know, to be honest. You look at the thing is though, the players that we'd be looking at and the players that we need other clubs are probably going to be more attractive than us in terms of going for those players.
That's why we need to get into the Champions League.
We have to get into the Champions League. We get into the Champions League, we put ourselves in a much, much better position. We can't keep relying on the pull of London, the pull of the Premier League, and the pull of the sporting project, because the strength of the sporting project right now is in the bit. Players aren't going to be that keen to sign up for this project when it's 3 years in and nothing's really happened. So, yeah, in terms of who's realistic, I mean, I look at someone like Matheus Cunha. I know he's not like an out-and-out winger, but he's one of them players that I think would be a very, very good signing. You look at someone like even Ademola Lookman, Atalanta 26,
He scored quite a few goals in the Champions League.
He's a bit of a goal scorer. I'd say those. I mean, Jamie Gittins is obviously at the younger end of the spectrum, but I don't know. There's not. The problem is though, when you're looking for the kind of players that we need in terms of elevating the first team and coming straight in, you're shopping from a very short list. And then when you're doing that, those top players are going to want Champions League before they even. If you can't offer Champions League, they won't even sit at the table. So, we're shopping in an area where we need top quality, but that list is short. So it's going to be very, very difficult.
No, certainly. And we're not going to be the only club that's going in for not even a left winger, just a winger.
We're not going to get Morgan Rogers.
No, we're not going to get Morgan Rogers for sure. We're not going to get Morgan Rogers, but I just mean in general, every club, or not every club, but so many clubs are going to be going in for a winger like that, of that profile in summer. You already look at teams and, Arsenal will probably bite your hands off as well for a really good goal scoring winger. So many other teams that are going to be targeting these, and I don't want us to be in a position where we have a weakness in the fact that we're not playing Champions League football, because how do you attract this project again when the fans have literally been organizing protests against the owners because of the model and the project, etc.? Like, how on earth are you going to motivate a young player to come in and believe in it? Do you know what I mean? And that really, really is the danger of not qualifying for Champions League. I mean, leave the fact that of course we all want to be in it again and we deserve to compete in it, but you have to ask yourself, we're not used to having problems like securing players, right? But this could very much become a problem come in summer, and if we don't and continue to be outside of Europe, and I don't mean the Conference League or Europa League, I mean Champions League, then we're going to have a real tough time. We're going to have a real tough time securing our targets, and that's when you kind of have to go and maybe go for your third or fourth or fifth target. Chelsea is a side, and especially and actually since the takeover of ownership, we've tended to secure our targets. I look at Caicedo, we were pursuing him for the longest time. We got him. Enzo Fernandez as well, pursuing him for the longest time, and we got him. There's so many players there that, we've had the top of the to-do list and we've managed it. But that becomes harder with every past year that you're away from Champions League football. It's simple as that. And I'd love to say that players will dream of playing for Chelsea. And of course, so many do. We're a top club and the history's there, the reputation's there, the image of the club. But let's be real, so many players are driven by the thought of playing at the very top and being in a club that is competing right now. In the same way that people are asking themselves, well, how is Man United an attractive club to move to in this current climate? Exactly. So, and that's the danger really of it. So that's one thing that just worries me a little bit with the upcoming transfer window.
Yeah, the reality is we don't have problems signing players, but we're going to have problems signing players of the quality that we need. That's going to be the problem. Chelsea can attract players, Chelsea can sign players, no problem. But can Chelsea sign players that they need and are of the required quality? That's a different conversation, and that's one that is going to be, we're going to find out in the summer. But I think there will be some issues. You're never going to get your first targets in every position, but we just have to hope, and there's not much hope given the evidence that we've got so far. But you just got to hope these guys are doing the right thing. You got to hope these guys are going to actually sign the players that are going to make us better. But I don't have much faith we're going to get what we need in the summer. That the club will get what they want, but it won't be what we need.
Yeah, no. Yeah, there's a lot of mention of Rodgers. It's hard to believe that this is a feasible one, to be honest. Like, regardless, 60, 70, whatever he gets priced at, it's pretty tough to see us going in for him.
That's not happening.
And being successful, yeah. But no, certainly, like, what a player Rodgers is. I mean, you can only kind of be jealous a little bit, can't you?
Yeah, no, he's a top player, but where would he, like, it's not going to make it, it's not going to happen for us.
No. What do you think of this comment? Newcastle have a better transfer strategy than us.
Well, the transfer strategy that they've signed no players for the last 3 windows.
But somehow just come up with players that are falling out a little bit sometimes.
I mean, look, they signed Isak, they signed Gordon, Botman's a decent player. Others they've got best. I mean, depends. But
yeah, I didn't expect them to crash out to Brighton today either.
No,
but
I'm not surprised. They've got that in them.
Yeah, no, certainly on the day. But to be fair, I am backing them against Liverpool in the final for sure.
Anthony Gordon's banned from that, so I've probably been that.
That's such a shame for them. Seriously, that is such a shame. But you never know. It's a final.
Unfortunately, he was an idiot and got himself sent off, which was, shouldn't have done that.
Let down the team, didn't he? Yeah. But no, so it's going to be interesting. I just think that, we already need to be thinking about summer, and I know we are, but it's a crucial window, like you say. I mean, all impressed by the clear out a few years ago, fine, but squad building and the kind of recruitment and transfer strategy has not been it's not been great, has it? It's not been great, and we can't keep coming out of windows saying it was underwhelming, and we're leaving ourselves short every single kind of window with certain player or certain profile. We really need to go out there in summer and address all these holes, and I think that the fact that us fans can see it, it's like, in my head, there's no way these sporting directors and scouts can't, because again, it's just so obvious to the eye. You look at Petrovic today and you just think, you look at our goalkeepers in this current moment, and it's like, well, where, how have all these decisions played out for us? But we most certainly do need to buy some experience, and I mean, we pretty much need a player in every department. That's wild.
Well, yeah, in the key ones we do, it's a problem. Massive problem, and that's where the frustration comes from, is that with the amount of money that's been invested in the squad, that is a squad that should be ready to compete for the major trophies, and it simply isn't. It's not people aren't moaning about a lack of ambition in terms of money being spent. It's the way that the squad's been put together and the way that the squad's been assembled.
Yeah, no, certainly, because again, like, you can sign all the exciting talent, you can sign all the what if players, but if they're going to come in and be set up kind of to fail from the get-go because they've got nobody to learn from, then it's there. And we've seen all our ex-pros come out and say it, they recognize it more than anyone else. So it's like, well, if you don't want to take our words, take their words. For example, you want to know how to run a football club, you want to know how and what the right tools are to assemble a really cohesive competitive team, then listen to them. That's literally how you do it. And I think, it's such a shame. I get that you want to believe in your footprint and your ideology so bad with this model, but it's just, you can't be that reluctant to change it, right? You can't be that resistant, because it's really not going to get us anywhere. If anything, you'll win us fans on your side, and we'll be much happier if we go out there and sign some experience. Hi, Niall. Thank you so much. Yeah, guys, everyone do what Niall said. Smash the like button. Subscribe to Chelsea Fans TV. And apologies that we're a little bit run down. It's like Sunday evening, and I am absolutely... What is even the words for extreme exhaustion on a Sunday evening? Even though you should be revived at the end of a weekend.
Should you be revived at the end of the weekend?
I don't feel revived at the end of the weekend, no. I think you can tell. But right, yeah, so a lot to do, certainly, but before the transfer window, we do have to, of course, play our football. Some tough games coming up, and we can kind of look at I'm looking past the Leicester game, because for me personally, and that one is 3 points and nothing else. What do you make of the remaining fixtures?
What, the whole season or just before the international break?
Everything.
Everything. It's going to be difficult for us. There's some really, really challenging fixtures coming up. I think if you look at this run now between next week and the international break, let's take those 4 fixtures: Leicester, 2 legs against Copenhagen, and Arsenal. We've got to go into that Arsenal game with 4 wins in a row. If you include Southampton, you've got to go through against Copenhagen and beat Leicester at home. Try and at least go into that Arsenal game with some momentum. After the international break, it's difficult. You've got Brentford away, you've got Newcastle away, Forest away. You've obviously got Man United and Liverpool at home. We've got difficult games left. And look, Gis will get players back after the international break from injury, and that's going to be obviously a plus for sure. But how much difference is it going to make? I'm not really too sure, only because of the fact of the matter that we were playing that our form dipped with all those players in the team anyway. But look, it should be a confidence boosting return for players like Fafanas, Jacksons, your Madueke and stuff. This should make a difference to the team, but is it going to make a big enough of a difference? Is that something going to spark us into life, and we're going to be able to put a run of results together, which we've not been able to do really since November? I'm not sure we can get enough wins to get there. Look, it's so tight though, because you look at it 2 ways. One way, you're like, wow, we're 2 points off third, but then the other side of it's like we're 4 points from 10th.
Yeah, so that's how tight it is at the top right now.
Exactly, but this is the thing though. Like you put a couple of wins together, you pull yourself away. You lose a couple of games again, which you could very easily do. You could find yourself 9th or 10th. And then the conversation is totally different about what's going on. It is real fine margins right now. And we're just lucky that we're lucky for 2 reasons. Not lucky, but we're fortunate that we had a very, very good start to the season. And we're also fortunate that in our run of 3 wins in 11 games, we're still in the position that we're in, because everyone else has just been so inconsistent.
Yeah, no, I'm going to put up the top of the league table right now so we can literally look at this. But it's actually incredible if you look how tight it is. Hang on. Just look at that. We're 5th right now, just a point behind City. But then you look at Newcastle, Bournemouth, Brighton, Fulham, Villa. Like, Villa are in 10th. They're just 4 points below. Yeah. And they beat us comfortably. Well, comfortably, they beat us. But it's crazy, because you look at those games and, you look at Newcastle, you look at Bournemouth, you look at Brighton, you look at Fulham. These are teams that, they maybe haven't had as much consistency in many ways like us, but we're now kind of looking to those teams to drop points, right? We're lucky that results went the way they did. Like, we beat Southampton, Villa lost, Bournemouth lost, but you can't count on other results going your way until the end of the season, can you? It's not a sustainable way to play your football.
We've got to focus on ourselves, and whatever anyone else does, we can't control that. We've just got to focus on picking up as many points as we can and focus on finishing as high at the table as we possibly can as well. But the frustrating thing is, right, you look at where we are, 3 wins in 11 Premier League games. Even if that was just 5 or 6 wins in 11, we'd comfortably be 3rd. We could even be 2nd. That's the really frustrating thing is that there's been no outs other than Liverpool. There's been no really exceptional team in the league this season.
No.
And there's an opportunity for someone to do something unexpected. Forest are probably the team that are looking like that the most right now, and have been for most of the season, to do something unexpected. But legitimately, there was an opportunity there this season for us to do something unexpected and maybe finish a surprise 2nd. There was the opportunity to do that.
You say that, but if somebody told you in summer that that's what top 4 would currently look like, you'd literally be like...
No, of course. At the start of the season, someone had said to me in March, Chelsea would be 2 points off 3rd place, would have absolutely taken it. But
100%.
The way that it's played out, the circumstances this season, it's just like, fuck, if we just won a few more, if we just turned a few more of those draws into wins or losses into draws or whatever, there was a genuine chance of second place potentially, or certainly we would be a lot more comfortable in this race for Champions League football.
Yeah, no, you're so right. But yeah, again, I think it's entirely what you said there. We need to focus on ourselves and we need to grind out results. Again, like I said, let me just pull up the fixture list, but I am now literally just looking at our fixtures. I'm looking past Leicester because let's be real, for me that's 3 points and nothing else. But
yeah,
you look at Leicester, Copenhagen, obviously midweek. We've got Arsenal at the Emirates, and we all remember and have nightmares. I know I certainly do, walking away from the Emirates last year after that 5-0 defeat. It was one of the worst and lowest lows I've had as a Chelsea fan, and just sitting through all of that, it was, a feeling that I don't want to experience again. But you look at that game and you think, we played Arsenal arguably in that sweet patch through ours, and we could have actually won that game had we put in a bit of a shift. You could probably argue that Arsenal also maybe could have won that game, but it was a very evenly contested match. And again, we were playing much better football. Now I worry about our football. So it's like, well, do we genuinely look at ourselves and think we can go to the Emirates and get something out of that?
I don't know. The Arsenal game is massive, absolutely massive, because again, this season, previous seasons, we are still missing a statement win away at a big team. It's not happened. It should have happened at Man City. It didn't happen. It should have happened at Old Trafford. It didn't happen. Could have happened at Anfield. Didn't happen. Obviously, we won at Spurs, but we're not really counting that. So look, we need a win there against Arsenal. Arsenal are potentially there for the taking. Their front line's missing. They're nowhere near as good defensively as people make out, although they're still solid defensively. This is a huge game. If we just get turned over in this game, it's long for us. It's going to be a big problem for the remainder of the season. So, yeah, I'm looking at it and I'm just thinking, I'm not too sure how that one's going to go. It should be an even game, given the fact that they've got no attack really, and we're not particularly amazing right now. That's the big game. If we go there and we lose, it is concerning how we're still unable to get over the line in so many big games.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm so worried about us defensively that I even think they don't even have to have a striker in a perfect front line for them to.
The thing is, I know Sterling's not been playing, but they won't even have the option of Sterling either because of the loan.
Yeah, that's true. But again, like I said, if we play at the back the way we did against Southampton, we concede. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I mean. It doesn't matter who's playing up front, if it's Merino or if we can have Saliba up front. We will concede if we play like that. And again, they will force errors out of us, just the way they press from the front. We literally cannot afford to dilly-dally with the ball out the back the way we did in the opening 20 minutes against Southampton. So that's something that we really, really need to fix. But yeah, obviously then we've got Tottenham in our heads. That's always 3 points there. I know that, of course, we played and we went 2-0 down against Tottenham, and Sancho scored arguably a very, very important goal in that game. But we still shipped 3 goals against Tottenham that day. And once again, it's a worry. I really, really don't trust us defensively. So we know that we can't really keep clean sheets. I don't know how, and no disrespect Southampton, I don't know how much you can really be ecstatic about keeping a clean sheet against Southampton. Bottom of the table.
It's not really anything to celebrate, is it?
Exactly, but we don't keep clean sheets in the league. Before that, it was Everton 0-0 in December. So we're looking at every single game we concede at least 1 goal. So that's just something that I have in the back of my mind. It is really, really tough. So, of course, hopefully, and we know that Wesley Fofana is going to potentially be available for these upcoming games. I think he'll be very welcome. Obviously, we don't know how fit he's going to be. I hope that he can, be back to his best self, even though, again, Fofana isn't perfect. He wasn't perfect. But, again, he had this kind of quality there that really still helped us out the back. And there's a reason people will say that he's probably our best defender. He
absolutely is our best defender.
Yeah. So there you go. Like, that maybe gives me a little bit of hope. But again, we were still conceding goals, even when Fofana was there.
Those games are so difficult. I forgot we got Fulham away still as well.
Oh, Fulham, yeah. I mean, look at that. We've got Brentford away. We've got Ipswich at home, we've got Fulham away, and then we've got Everton at home, and then Liverpool at home. And then
These games are really, really difficult.
And then obviously we've got...
And that ending to the season is dire.
I mean, that is awful. And again, in which of these games, and arguably our good run, did we pick up forms? We lost to pick up points. We lost to Ipswich. We lost to Fulham. We drew to Everton. We lost to Liverpool. We just about beat Newcastle, and that game could have gone either way at home before they knocked us out the cup. And then,
by the way, the record at St James's Park is absolutely dreadful for us as well. So
yeah.
I wouldn't feel particularly confident going there.
Man United only picked up a point.
Two of those last 3 games could be literally knockout games to qualify for the Champions League.
Wait, are you ready for this? We picked up 1 point against Everton. Sorry, I'm being really rude. I'm chewing an orange, so let me just...
that is very rude.
Sorry, guys. Please, can everyone forgive me? Okay, I'm back. If my mum and dad are watching this, they're going to be like, Nina, where are your manners?
That's very disrespectful to the people.
Right, back to the football. 0 points against Ipswich. We've got 0 points against Fulham, 1 point against Everton, none in Liverpool, 3 points against Newcastle, so that was 4, 1 point against Man United, so that was 5, 1 point against Forest, 6. 6 points in those games there. 6 points out of 7. How does that sound to you? In our good run of 4.
6 points from 21.
Yeah, as in the 7 games there. Yeah.
Yeah, so 6 points from 21 in those reverse fixtures. Yeah, it's not good. The problem we've got is that because things are now so tight, this end to the season, there's very minimal or almost next to no room for error. And the reality is, you look at those 7 games, or the last 2, for the last 5, last 6, we're dropping points. 100%. We're dropping points in at least 3 of those games, maybe even 4.
Yeah.
And if you look at the remaining fixtures we've got, right, we have to win our home. So looking at Ipswich, Everton, Leicester, win your home games. Tottenham, win those home games. And then away from home, just pick up what you can. I think Newcastle and Forest away are going to be very, very difficult. Liverpool at home is going to be difficult. I mean, it could be a guard of honour by then, which would be very disappointing. But it's probably heading that way. The guard of honour for Liverpool. When they've won the league, they probably would have won the league by 3rd of May, I would have thought. It's gonna be really hard, and it's just a bit bleak right now. And that's why when I look at it, and that's why I say we're not gonna finish in the top 4 because of the January window, and just because you look at that, and that running is one of the hardest.
Yeah. So, I mean, if we do this, so 6 points, right, we picked up out of these games. Let's say, and I want to say that we can beat Ipswich at home. And again, who am I to say that's an absolute 3 points on the board? But let's just say hypothetically, we have to beat Ipswich. Fulham away is going to be tricky. They've been given a lot of confidence as well. They've picked up quite a bit of confidence. That'll be tough. Everton at home, I like to think again we can win that. So again, I mean, if we say we draw to Fulham, which again I hope it doesn't happen, but that's already a better points tally. But then going into the other ones with Liverpool and Newcastle, I really don't know about those games. I'm not too sure we can pick up 3 points. And then United, it just always does seem to be a draw. And then Forest, you could say in hindsight, I was annoyed after that Forest draw. In hindsight, that was a pretty good result for us then. So
yeah, look, it's going to be hard. We've just got to hope that these guys get serious, pull their fingers out, and we can go on a run and get some results. We're capable of going on a run, by the way. We are capable of it. Whether we do it or not is a different question, but we're absolutely capable of going on a run and picking up a result. You know, we're a sort of team that, you know, we could easily lose like three or 4 of those last 5 or 6, but we are also capable of somehow winning 4 or 5 of those last 6. You just don't really know what Chelsea's going to turn up right now, and that's part of the big issue, really. Anyway.
Yeah, no, you're right. But yeah, we've got 10 minutes left of this show, guys, this evening. So if you guys have any questions or want us to discuss anything, at Chelsea, obviously we didn't play football this weekend, so there's no games to talk about. But we've obviously got some midweek Conference League action. We've got Copenhagen in the first leg, and it should be a good game. I mean, I watched some of Copenhagen's games recently, and I think, they're pretty good, and they've got this kind of fight to them. Is really, really nice to see. So that'll be interesting. I do expect us to win, though. I really, really do. I hope we can win that. But yeah, hopefully we do have a few players back, and it will become a little bit, I guess, easier in the sense that we got options off the bench as well, because you've got so many great games. We're already playing, we've got players that play full 90s, and they don't really have backup in the sense that there's no one that can really replace Endo and Caicedo's quality on the pitch, not a Dewsbury Hall or anything like that. And apologies, but not even like a Matisse Mugu, who great young player, but Lavia is missed, and the fact that he's not fit is certainly a bit of a hole in our team. Mark says that Arsenal will beat us. As you say, Charlie, their defence isn't good, but there is a different league to ours, mate. And we always beat Spurs.
No, we always beat Spurs, yeah.
Yeah, of course we do. Apart from that fact that we didn't. When did we lose 2-1 to them?
Oh, that was quite a long time. That's when Dele Alli was still decent.
Yeah. Stephen says we'll be 10th. I hope not, Stephen. I hope you're really, really
I don't think we will be 10th. I don't think we will be. But look, don't get me wrong. It's not an impossibility.
Yeah. No, it's true.
It really isn't.
I only ever played football at university for uni teams and stuff. I played a little bit growing up, but never really had a team or anything. So I can play, but I'm not good or anything. But no. I like football.
Not good.
Not good.
So not backing yourself.
I back myself. I think I'm okay, but I'm not do you know when you grow up and I don't actually know what it's like to be I didn't know what it was like to play in a team until university. It's very different from just having I'd have a kickabout with my dad and my brother. That's so different from playing in a team.
That's not yeah.
So the only I only know football from watching it and then playing it a little bit, but I can't say it really helps in a way because positional awareness. What positional awareness? I don't know about that. Chelsea, hello. Where is Lavia? We need him badly. Lavia
is a massive miss. Massive
do you think we'll
miss.
see him again?
Well, hopefully before the end of the season. Obviously, it'll be after the international break. But look, again, it's going to be basically 2 seasons where the guy just has barely played for us. That's a huge problem. It's a real big problem. I don't care how good you are, how talented you are. It's an issue where you're just missing so much of each season. Even Reece James a little bit the same. I know he's played a bit more this season, but it's the same principle, isn't it? You need your best players available.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Lavia is such a miss. He kind of just feels like a new signing that is yet to be unveiled. We know he's there, but he's not been there, and it's such a shame because there's so much quality. It's just such a waste for him to be injured again and again. And sadly, we see players in football who pick up chronic injuries and there's just no going back from it. They just seem to spiral. And sadly, there's just so many players there that could have had such different careers had it not been for injuries. But unfortunately, they are also human. They're not robots. And sadly, medical issues take a toll sometimes. But hopefully we can see him back at some point because you always kind of wonder what that midfield with Lavia in it looks like. What with Lavia looks like, absolutely. And, you saw it in games where Enzo would start him. There was a reason he'd start him in the kind of games where we were playing much more physical games and physical sides against kind of top teams with really good midfield. He was so crucial because he can absolutely help. He's great on the ball, ball carrying ability, really, really great. He's got a bit of height, which again, Endo and Caicedo don't necessarily have that to them. Also different player, and I think that Lavia could have potentially been a very great asset to us, and maybe we didn't drop as many points as we did if Lavia was in this side. I don't know.
It doesn't make us score more goals.
No, yeah, but again, just having that presence there and like one-on-one winning his interceptions, he doesn't get pushed off the ball as easily as other players do. He doesn't concede possession as much, but yeah, that's just a kind of hypothetical what if we would have looked like with Lavia in the team. But sadly, guys, that's just life. Sometimes you don't have your best players, and we know that all too well because how many times have we had Reece James out and injured, and we've just wished him back. Mark says Liverpool is a tricky one. They will be going for Champions League as the league's done. I mean,
that's the only possible positive, right? Is that, and obviously they don't want to end the season on a low point. Of course they don't. They're still going to be trying to win games, but you're going to be playing a Liverpool team where the pressure will be off. They've won the league, and it doesn't. The results don't really matter to them. They don't need the results.
Mm.
But then also on the flip side, they could also be. There's no pressure on them, so they could play even better.
Yeah, I mean, look, the thing is, even Liverpool, if they don't even field their best side, I still think they can, give us a game. So,
easy.
Do you know what I mean? Like, Liverpool is just that side right now, so it doesn't really give me confidence that if they've won the league and, they can still put out players that, are not as... not as great as their kind of first and best starting 11, but they've still got the quality. And, we've seen that now. They've got a brilliant kind of infrastructure of squad players and also players that are just, anyways, enough to talk about Liverpool because we're Chelsea fan TV, right? But yeah, guys, look, there's no point of kind of giving up on the season, I think, just yet, because still so much to achieve. We want to win the Conference League, and of course we want to qualify in a Champions League spot. A lot of fans are divided on that, whether we do or not, but we won't know until the end of the year, and there's no point of, again, giving up because as we just showed you, the table, the points and the margins are so small that anything can happen from here on to the end of the season. It's why we are, it's why we love the Premier League as well. It's why we are the best league in the world as well, because it's so intriguing, and it's not often that you've got top 10 thereabouts. Anyone can kind of beat anyone within that top 10, and it's just really, really great to see. So yeah, I think we'll just have to hang tight and obviously trust that Maresca can maybe find out the best possible way to refresh us game in, game out, and come up with something a bit different, because that's the thing, we've become a bit too predictable with how we set up, and I think that Maresca, like what he's done with Neto, he needs to do that with more players, I suppose, with a little bit more, maybe even the whole team, but just switch it up a little bit so that teams don't come up, especially to Stamford Bridge, and know exactly how we're setting up against them, right? And just make it so easy for them. So yeah, just we just have to have a little bit of faith, and hopefully, we achieve our goals.
I mean, if you've given up on the season, well, there's no point watching the rest of it then, if you've given up on the season.
Yeah, exactly.
You can have your thoughts about it. Do you know what? I think I personally feel we're going to miss out on the Champions League. I'm not giving up on the season. There's still a lot to play for. We can still finish third. I'm not saying we will, but there is still a possibility to finish third, and we can still win a trophy.
Yeah,
that wouldn't be a bad season.
At the start of the season, and at the start of the season, that's all we kind of wanted. I can only speak for myself, but I said this season I want Chelsea to get Champions League football, and I want us to win the Conference League. I would have loved an FA Cup or something too, but hey, it's not quite gone that way. But once again, I think that there are goals to achieve, so we still do have to get behind the team. It doesn't mean that everything's okay and we trust our owners or anything like that. No, certainly, we know what the problems are, and we speak a lot about them on the channel here, but ultimately those players still have to go out and play the teams that we just showed you, and hopefully grind out some results. So we're going to have to just get behind them and hopefully achieve that, because we are in a position now where it's fine that we almost could afford to drop the points we did, but there's no room for many more mistakes, right? Those games that are winnable on paper, they need to be winnable on the pitch as well. We are not stupid. Of course, the tougher games, where we got to play Newcastle, Liverpool, of course, Arsenal, those games will be tough, yes, but I always say one thing about Chelsea is, yeah, we can be predictable sometimes, but we also do come up with some unpredictable stuff. So I wouldn't even be surprised if we got something out of one of those games there that we view as the trickier ones. But yeah, Charlie, is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap this one up, mate?
No, I don't think so. Looking forward to getting nice to go into a game week again next week. Conference week and the Premier League games we're playing twice next week. Yeah, hope the guys have just made good use of this time off as such, putting the hard work in on the training ground, working on a few bits and pieces. You don't get many opportunities like that in the season to have, a good 6-7 days to prepare for a game and to prepare for upcoming games. So yeah, let's hope that you've used the time wisely, and let's hope that we can pick up some 3 wins heading into this Arsenal game, and that's going to hopefully give us some good momentum, and hopefully we can try and do something positive. But yeah, look, it's going to be a tough end to the season, but you've got to keep some belief, otherwise you might as well not bother watching anymore.
100%, and that's a good note to wrap it up. But thank you so much to everyone who joined us this evening, guys, and thank you for all your comments as well. Appreciate your engagement and your contribution. Please make sure you have smashed the like button and of course subscribe to Chelsea Fan TV if you haven't done so already. And yeah, looking forward to some midweek action against Copenhagen, guys. Make sure you tune into the lunchtime stream tomorrow, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great night.